So a very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to the EICMA Esports Arena for the EICMA Esport VIP race. Dib Christie and Ryan Gill here with you. We are not, unfortunately, over in Milan, Italy. But Ryan, very good morning. Slightly colder over here, but a star-studded stage that we are going to be commentating on this morning. So a very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to the EICMA Esports Arena for live coverage here of the EICMA VIP race here, a star-studded stage that we have got in front of us just now. As we can see on stage at the moment, our Italian commentators just now, that is of course Federica Mazzolini and Davide Valsecchi, having a chat with some of our guests today. I believe that's Tony Cairoli that is up there on stage they are having a chat to at the moment. And on the right hand side there, that is Nicolo Bulega. Both of them very, very famous motorcycle riders in their own right. They're going to be taking part, you can see there in the background, on a Assetto Corsa. It is going to be a special VIP rallycross race that they are taking part in, and there's going to be 3 other drivers that are on there as well. Now, they qualified yesterday. Cameron Box, Connor Lynds, Aiden Pryke are going to be taking part in this as well. And obviously this happening live on stage in the middle of Milan at the Milan Motorcycle Show. And we are going to be looking forward to a 10-minute qualifying session live on stage, as well as a 20-minute race, as the hosts just having a little bit of a pre-event chat, getting the crowd hyped up. And you can see there, it's going to be the pickup trucks that we're going to be racing in this this custom track that we're racing at here. You can see quite the crowd built up for this event as well. We will be joined by Ryan Gill in just a second. You can see him just waiting patiently in the background. But as we said, we'll be doing the English audio here for this event today, and it'll be getting underway very shortly. Let's take you through some of the other competitors in this just now. We have got Raton, rapper and X Factor presenter. You've got Italian DJ and podcaster Gianluca Gazzoli is going to be taking part. Maria Herrera is out there as well. We saw Nicolo Bulega. We've seen as well Tony Cairoli. Rebecca Bianchi is going to be behind the wheel, as well as the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Dani Pedrosa is gracing us on stage. Now, we were lucky enough to hear in the broadcast audio just off air Dani taking part and having a little bit of an interview in front of the crowd here. But again, what they're doing at the moment, I'm not the greatest at Italian, but I can tell pretty much what they're doing right now. They're explaining a little bit about the series, a little bit about building up to the event so far, the esports arena, and everything that is involved in bringing people into that mix between esports and real life motorsports as well. So as they're doing that, as always, these live events can kind of creep a little bit. So apologies if you've had to wait a little bit of time to come and join us this morning. But we're here now. We're ready, waiting to go. You can see those beautiful rigs in the background. waiting for people to jump into them. And I can imagine that we are going to get everybody introduced on stage, all of our drivers, all of our competitors ahead of this rallycross race. I wasn't sure if it was going to be a little bit of motocross action that we were indulging in today, but it is confirmed to be motocross, mostly because you can see those beautiful pickup trucks just faintly off in the background just now, as we get another look at those fantastic sim rigs. And it looks like everyone has got their own names on the backs of the jerseys as our commentators jump into the comms booth. So it looks like they've got a slightly more glamorous setup than myself and Ryan here at home. But again, you know, it's a hell of a spectacle if you're down there in Milan in person. So at least you've got some consummate professionals taking part this weekend. But as we said, we'll get the drivers all introduced. As I said, we've got the 3 qualifiers from yesterday then. Cameron Box, Connor Lynds and Aiden Pryke, who are all going to be invited back to today's race today. Gianluca Gazzoli, Raton, Maria Herrera. In fact, here we go. I'm not too sure if that's one of our competitors for yesterday, because that's walking onto the stage with crutches on. And that's not going to be the best for trying to take part in a simulator competition, I'll be honest with you. But if David Addison can do it over in Macau, then I'm pretty sure that we can get that done just now. That is indeed Cameron Box that is doing that. I sure hope that he didn't do that overnight here, but we'll see if he can go and jump in and take part. But again, qualifying from that race yesterday. As Cameron makes his way over. So it looks like we're going to get a little bit of an intro with all of the drivers. If we get an interview in English, then I will shut up so we can hear what they're saying. As we see a little pair of eyes peeking out from behind the curtains there. These live productions, always so many moving pieces. I've been involved in quite a few of them, and you'd be amazed at how many people are involved in making something that looks like as simple as this actually happen out there on stage. So as we saw Cameron Box making his way onto the stage, making his way into the booth. So I would imagine it'll likely be Connor Lynds that'll be coming up next. We've got the hoodie on. No, I'm pretty sure that's Gianluca Gazzoli. It is. I'd recognise that hairstyle anyway. He comes over. He's obviously super pumped for the race ahead. Let's see. Of course, he's speaking in Italian. So Gianluca, a very famous Italian radio DJ and podcaster, was at Tomorrowland a couple of years ago. Obviously, prime candidate for taking part in today's race. I'm expecting nothing but chaos and carnage from Gianluca. Although, to be fair, I don't know what his form is like. So we'll wait and see exactly what happens with Gianluca. He might be an absolute alien. We just don't know. This is where you get to see some real unknown faces here. That looks like Raton just coming out onto the stage just now, and of course he's of course straight into to having a chat with us. So again, unfortunately, not too much that we can glean from what he's saying just now, but it looks like he's poised and ready to go. He looks quite happy to be going ahead with this. And again, we'll get Ryan in with us very shortly, so it's not my own voice that you're having to hear for the remainder of this race, but all of the drivers getting brought out. Now, I wonder, is this possibly going to be Maria Herrera? We can see a little pair of eyes peeking out behind the window. And Ryan! Finally, we've got you on board. We've got, in the background, just coming out there, we've got Tony Cairoli, but a very warm welcome, Ryan Gill.
Thank you very much, David. Yeah, a bit late, but better late than never. And really happy to be here for the EICMA Esports Arena race today. As you just said, Tony Cairoli appearing from behind the curtain, two-time motocross GP world champion, participating in the race today. 2014 and 2017 were his championships, and 208 MXGP appearances from 2014 to 2021. He's got quite the CV.
He does have quite the CV. I wonder how that is going to translate into Assetto Corsa. You see a lot of smiles, a lot of happy faces here, Ryan. I think we know exactly what to expect here. Personally, I'm predicting chaos and a couple of flipped over cars by turn one here.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of them are heading into the unknown, should we say. Of course, we did have 3 qualifiers yesterday, that have come through to participate in this race, but a lot of big names as we're seeing them come out from, behind the curtain to race today. Not all of them will be too familiar, with how it works in the sim. It's very different to the real world. And a lot of the people we've got today, from a motorcycle or motocross background as well, which again is very, very different to driving a car.
It certainly is. Now, I'm trying to work out, is that Maria Herrera or Rebecca Bianchi? Because, unfortunately, I'm new to both of those riders. I think that's Bianchi. Rebecca, yeah. I thought that as well. We've got a handy little cheat sheet of photos of everyone there. And, yeah, I think it's on set, it takes more than 5 seconds, and then you'd realise, yeah, that is fairly obviously Rebecca Bianchi behind there. We'll also, as I said, see Maria Herrera, Dani Pedrosa still to come out on stage, Nicolo Bulega, but you can see there having a quick chat with our on-stage host, Davide Valsecchi and Federica Massolin. Normally see them present the Formula 1 over in Italy as well, but a way to take to the stage just now. And again, it's a little bit nerve-wracking, Ryan. You've got, in-person experience of these live events and the VIPs taking part. How nervous normally are they at these things?
Well, it kind of varies, doesn't it? If you're talking complete esports professionals, I think the nerves can vary from driver to driver. Some of the top drivers, they've been here and done it. They're not too worried about it. But I think with VIP races, maybe a bit different, maybe a bit more of a relaxed atmosphere around here. I mean, you can see everyone's, good smiles there. There's no super serious faces or anything going on at the moment. Because I think everyone's just here to enjoy themselves, really. So I don't think there's too much pressure on nerves on anyone today, but I imagine that there will be quite a bit of excitement going around, each of the drivers before we get underway today.
Yep, that is Maria Herrera that we just saw there just now. And of course, like I said, quite a star-studded lineup, certainly for Italian audiences as well. And this being a live event on stage as well, certainly adds to all of the fun here at the EICMA, the Milan Motorcycle Show, where it's expected to have seen around about 500,000 people around here. But Racing Royalty, I'm sorry if I'm going to fanboy a bit here, Ryan Gill, but it is the boy, Dani Pedrosa, out there having a chat. Let's see if he's speaking in English. No, it's not. Right, okay, so Ryan, we have to talk amongst ourselves while Dani is having a bit. But of course, what is maybe unbeknownst to some of our international audiences is, like Valentino Rossi, Dani actually taken to 4 wheels now a couple of years ago, taking part in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe Championship last year. He says that he feels, far from being ready to jump into a GT3 machine, but listen, if you're able to race competitively in Lamborghini Super Trofeos, then you're not doing too bad, as we see Nicolo Bulega here.
Yeah, Dani Pedrosa, of course. I remember seeing him in 2022 for the first time in person at Imola. He was trying the sims in the Fanatec Arena back then, but he, had an interesting season in that Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe campaign and has obviously still got quite involved with sim racing since then. Nicolo Bulega, of course, in Italy, a name that plenty of people will know, and the current Supersport World Champion of 2023. So he's had a pretty good season, 16 wins and 21 podiums this year. Can he add to that tally today? We'll have to find out.
Yep, this is Connor Lynds. This is the second of our qualifiers from yesterday, coming back through to today. And again, an awesome experience for both for Cameron Box, for Connor Lynds, and for Aiden Pryke, being able to rock up to this show that I'm pretty sure that they were really looking forward to anyway, and then suddenly finding yourself front and centre of all of the action going on as Connor has a quick chat to our host there and jumps in behind the wheel. I think Connor and Aiden might be our only two English interviews just now, as it looks like Davide has a little bit of a secret that he's keeping to himself there. I love reading the body language of our host just now, but this is Aiden Pryke then. And I was doing, obviously, a little bit of research this morning. Stalking is usually what we call it between ourselves, Ryan. And I'm pretty sure that Aiden actually does have a YouTube channel where he does a lot of motocross content. So if it is his one, then awesome stuff. Certainly sounds like it. Let's see if we can hear anything from him. Well, there we go. Right, and just as he hands over the microphone, Ryan, that is impeccable timing.
Yeah, well, I mean, commentators, as ever, impeccable timing on everything, but especially when it comes to disasters, it seems. But no, I mean, Aiden Pryke, well, not just for him, but also Cameron Box and Connor Lynds, plenty going on. Today they'll have come to, the EICMA Motorsport show, with the intent of participating in this, surely, because they knew it was going on. But whether they knew they'd actually be one of the three that would be up there sharing, the track or the dirt course with the likes of Nicolo, Bulega, Tony Cairoli, Dani Pedrosa. Probably didn't think it at the time, but it's always a nice thing to add to your CV of achievements, should we say, because, not many people outside of MotoGP riders get to say they've raced against Dani Pedrosa.
And talking about the race, and now we've got all the drivers out there on stage. Let's have a look at the action just now as we see Dani Pedrosa. Looks like it's sideways into a barrier. We'll hopefully not see too much of that. Rebecca Bianchi here. Now, the thing with Rallycross here, it's a mixture of tarmac and gravel/dirt surfaces that the cars get to race on here. It is a completely different beast from any other form of circuit racing. For me, I absolutely adore Rallycross. I'm not very good at it, but it's almost like a palate cleanser, isn't it? Because it's just so fun.
It's very different to a lot of racing that you can find out there. Of course, there's the typical road racing that everyone's familiar with, racing around a circuit. There's, of course, rally itself, with all the time trials. But Rallycross it's the hybrid, isn't it? It's the mix between what rally is and what road racing is. You get some dirt, you get some tarmac, and you put a few people on track and tell them, go for it. And, the races are typically quite short in Rallycross. I believe we have a 20-minute race coming up here today. So a bit longer than probably what you would get in some of the top official series. But I think, with a bit of a longer race, maybe we might see some interesting, not necessarily strategy, but, different approaches to the race, given that it is 20 minutes and a lot of these drivers out here today aren't going to be too familiar with the circuit, the cars, or the style of racing in general.
Well, Ryan, obviously myself and yourself, both used to commentating on a very different style of sim racing here, where it's maybe a little bit more serious. And I love these fun events because it allows us to let our hair down a little bit. We get to enjoy it as, oh my God, somebody just ended themselves into the barrier on the right hand side. And for a lot of these drivers, they'll come to the event and they'll just rock up into simulators, maybe not having too much experience. Maybe qualifying is the most experience they've got. Certainly from the amount of cars we've got into barriers at the moment, I get the feeling that I may rupture a lung here from giggling so much with everything that's about to go on. But here is Cameron Box here, just coming down through the circuit here. Now, a lot of jumps that I've noticed here on this layout of the circuit here, and again that adds a whole other dynamic, because as the car comes cresting over the hill, you lose that traction and it's very easy to, oh my lord, somebody racing in chase cam there. That is, I feel like we really need to kind of hide. It is very, very brave indeed. That is How do you feel about that, Ryan?
Not something we're used to seeing in the sim racing scene, but everyone has their own way that they're comfortable with. You know, and I suppose for a lot of these guys, it's a learning experience today. This might be the first time they've ever tried these cars, this track, and all sorts of stuff. They had a 20-minute practice session earlier, as far as I'm aware. Of course, we are in qualifying at the moment with just about 6 minutes left of qualifying. But this is a learning experience, and like you said, there's jumps on this which a lot of them will not be familiar with in their quote unquote racing career, should we say? People like Dani Pedrosa, as much as there's some intimidating circuits on the MotoGP calendar, none of them quite involve the jumps that you see in something like Rallycross, although someone like Tony Cairoli in motocross might be a bit more familiar with that, as we've just seen two cars tangled together there, and there's a third car involved as well. And as far as qualifying sessions go, this is scrappy, but as far as Rallycross goes, I think this is business as usual.
Oh, Matt, this is one of the few times that I am very, very jealous that I am not there in person, because it's going to be hilarious. It's going to be so much fun. And that is the main order of the day today. Yes, it's a VIP race, but the focus has to be on entertainment and on fun. And I'll tell you what, Tony Cairoli, as much as he is in chase view right now, that actually, for someone that's new to maybe sim racing or Assetto Corsa, that's actually going to work out well, because, it comes across something like a little bit like Forza. He's got the wheel in front of him anyway, and he's only 3 seconds off the pace at the moment. But Dani Pedrosa, 43.5 at the moment, then Nicolo Bulega at 2 seconds behind this. So we're seeing a wide spread here, but I've got a feeling that it's going to have absolutely nothing to do with lap time at all, and just basically how much you can avoid all of the chaos that's going to be unraveling in front of us for this EICMA VIP race.
I wonder with Dani Pedrosa, if that experience on the simulator, he has his own simulator at home, which I believe runs very similar equipment to what we've got out here for this event live. So Dani Pedrosa might be quite familiar with, the handling and the feedback that you get generated through, these direct drive wheelbases. And, that can help you. If you're familiar with how to set up your wheel, or, you're at least quite familiar with the feeling that you get through the wheel, then you can adapt to, all sorts of different circuits or cars much more quickly than someone who maybe has never sim raced before, and they've got to learn the ropes right from the bottom, whereas you're starting a bit further up the ladder.
Yeah, for sure. And the other thing as well is, again, Ryan, you'll know this as well with these live events, you always have at least one competitor that has maybe been getting a little bit sweaty, has the sim installed weeks beforehand, takes it maybe a little bit more seriously than everyone else. And I think we're starting to see that now. Dani Pedrosa right at the front. You've got Aiden Pryke in second place here. We've only got 3 minutes left to go in qualifying on this little custom circuit here in Assetto Corsa. You've then got Connor Lynds in 4th position, Rebecca Bianchi up there in 5th position, Tony Cairoli now down to 6th position. I'll tell you what, this is actually getting a lot closer than I thought it was going to be here, because we've got now 6 drivers within about 3.1 seconds of each other, and for a lot of them I think this will be their first time driving this circuit here, so this might not be as manic as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and this is a wonderful camera perspective, isn't it? It gives you an idea of how each of them are handling, with the wheel, which ones have got a good grip on it, which ones haven't. What kind of steering techniques do you employ? Because these are not the same as a road car. You don't drive it like you feed the wheel. They're very much kind of lock to lock with these cars and how you drive them. Also, we have a little guest on the table on the front of the show at the moment.
I think we need to get him in a sim rig. I think he could easily get inside the 50-second mark. Yeah, but that's when you really start questioning your life choices there, Ryan. When I've been in the situation where I've been beaten in races by someone that's like 12, 13 years old. Slightly younger guest there, but it really does make you question what you're doing when these youngsters get involved and are able to beat you quite considerably. But, joking aside, it's brilliant. And this is what I love about esports, Ryan, is the fact that all of these drivers, they act as an inspiration for people that maybe haven't thought about getting into motorsports, and then you look at this and you think, well, actually this could be quite fun. Now, what I've just noticed there is there's a slight alternate layout there, so I wonder if we are actually going to have a Joker lap here, or maybe if that's a Joker lap available but they're not forced to actually use it here on Assetto Corsa, as they would be in maybe some other rallycross sims. But we've only got about a minute left to go here. We've got a car on the outside of Gianluca Gazzoli here. I think that's been dispatched here. So with 30 seconds left to go, it's been a hell of a performance, but I think it's safe to say that Dani Pedrosa going to be on pole potentially here.
Yeah, Dani Pedrosa looking like he's going to be at the top. And it's interesting that you mentioned that Joker, because at certain circuits, the Joker can be better or indeed a worse line to take. And the way Rallycross typically works is that you'll be required to do 1 or 2 Joker runs per race. And, like we said, that Joker can be quicker or slower. In this instance, not entirely sure. This track is pretty new to us as well. Not one that we're exactly familiar with either. And wow, we've got one of the cars mounting the curb. That also almost reminds me of a Laguna Seca style race that I saw in MotoGP at one point. But impressive from some of the drivers, the control that some of them seem to have over these curbs and almost mountains that they've got. And into the barrier goes Raton, and that looked quite hard.
For me, again, as a sim racer myself, seeing somebody racing without headphones on, that's going to be difficult as well, because you're not able to hear when the engine changes are going to be. You're not listening to the engine as well. But I think here, Raton just happy to be able to turn a couple of corners without any issue. Raton 53 seconds, so about 10 seconds off the pace here. So I think maybe just happy to let the car crawl across the line in 10th position is Raton. I'm pretty sure practicing power slides here. He's got the old handbrake on the go beside, because that was a hell of a corner there. Right, so the screen fades to black then. That could only mean one thing, which means that the car's heading over to the race conditions here, Ryan. Dani Pedrosa on pole position. Some good names up there. Connor Lynds up there. Rebecca Bianchi up there. Cameron Box and Aiden Pryke as well. Our 3 qualifiers from yesterday. I have a feeling that we are about to see just an absolute train wreck going into turn 1.
Yeah, I think so. It looks like it's going to be Dani Pedrosa and Aiden Pryke, I think, starting on the front.
Oh my God!
We're also going to have Tony Cairoli up there as well. Is that 5 or 6 wide? On
6
the front
cars
row?
wide.
So six cars wide on the front row. But then again, this is very rallycross. If you're used to road racing, you'll be used to seeing 2 cars line up 2 by 2. In MotoGP, I believe it's 3 bikes line up on the rows. But in rallycross, it's not unusual to see 5 or 6 cars on the front row of the grid. Of course, very different style of racing, so they can they're allowed to get away with that. And you can see there is 6 stalls there as they're trying to get an interview with Dani Pedrosa, and now Nicolo Bulega as well. It's going to be interesting, David, down towards turn 1. Who's going to go full send and who's going to be a bit hesitant?
At which point you just foot to the floor, close your eyes, and hope for the best. That's all you can do. Because if I remember rightly, well, no, I think some of the drivers are going to close their eyes on this one, right? Because if I remember rightly, I think it's a little jink to the left is going to be turn 1, but it looks like the crowd's getting ready here as our presenters Davide Valsecchi and Federica Massolin getting us all hyped and ready, and we're having to do the same here in the virtual commentary box here in the UK. Dave Christie and Ryan Gill bring you all of the action. Some last minute checks going on at the moment. It'll likely be that the drivers all poised and ready to go, and this is always the bit, Ryan, for yourself as well, with the experience of this. This is always where drivers putting their hands up, a little bit of last minute panic sets in. Maybe they want to make sure their keyboard's working or their pedals are working. But behind the scenes, technically, it's a frantic 2 minutes. This, isn't it?
having been on the side, usually on the side of race organising for on-site live events, moments before the race, or the minutes before the race even, are usually the most chaotic. Even if the race, is littered with incidents, it usually is the most chaotic just before the race. It's when the most things can go wrong. So for the organisers, it is always quite a tense moment. But, wonderful organisers that we've got going on here for the race, and I'm sure that they'll make sure everything, is good to go when we go for lights out, and I think that should be in just a couple of minutes' time, according to the schedule that we have here. So 20-minute race coming up, David. Anything can happen. Anything could happen in 20 minutes. So
oh my God. Look at it. Look at it, 12 cars. Oh, goodness me. Right, let's get settled in. Indeed, 20 minutes of this. If we have 12 cars remaining at the end of the 12 minutes, I will eat my hat. We've got 6 on the front row, 4 on the back row there. You can see all of the virtual pit crew looking identical to each other here at this beautiful, beautiful rallycross circuit here. A couple of waves to the cameras. The lights are about to go on, though, here for rallycross. 20 minutes of madness. On pole position, Dani, Pedrosa. The lights starting to come on. 3, 4, 5, 6. We wait. The engine notes rise. And away we go. Great start on the inside there from Dani Pedrosa. Couple of stalled starts later on. I think that was Cameron Box and Aiden Pryke there. But it's off into the lead then. Rebecca Bianchi up into P2. Dani Pedrosa taking it. Oh, there's been huge chaos. Huge carnage already. Dani Pedrosa up into P1. And that's Rebecca Bianchi. This should be absolutely mauled. It's a monster mash just now going on, Ryan. And Dani Pedrosa with Cameron Box just behind. And then you've got Maria Herrera just behind that as well. So this is going to be a long 20 minutes.
It is. Dani Pedrosa gets away well. There are quite a few stalls, as you mentioned, and unfortunately for Rebecca Bianchi, caught up in an incident. But it does seem like Aiden Pryke managed to just swerve around it, lost quite a bit of time. I think the same is probably true for Tony Cairoli, but Dani Pedrosa has got away really, really well in this opening minute, this opening lap. He's got an 8-second lead already, as I believe that's Aiden Pryke making a move on Tony Cairoli, but he can't quite make it stick as they stay second and third.
Awesome stuff. A little bit further back then, you've got Cameron Box fighting it out with Connor Lynds just now. So your 2 qualifiers from yesterday. Beautiful move up the inside, but in Pryke sends it every day of the week. Cairoli, oh, a little bit of contact here, and Cairoli is the worse off of that one. You're never going to pull that one off, my friend, unfortunately. Pryke races off into the sunset here just now. 18 and a half minutes left to go. And the thing is that 10-second gap, as we see a move from Dani Pedrosa onto one of the lap cars already. I believe that might have been Raton getting a lap put down on him already. But the thing with Dani Pedrosa is that it's all very good having a 10-second lead here, Ryan, but he's coming across lap traffic and they are having their own race and might actually end up taking him out by accident.
Lapping traffic at a rallycross style circuit is very, very different to lapping traffic at any standard racing circuit in the world where there's defined straights and all sorts that you can make moves or follow someone through a corner. Here, there isn't really any of that. It's every man for himself, and wonderful slide for the number 26 through the corner there. 12-second lead at this point in time from Aiden Pryke, and then Connor Lynds is 24 seconds down from the lead. He's got Bulega just a few seconds behind him, maybe for company in just a few minutes. It is Raton, who's the only driver at the moment who seems to be a lap down. So he's unfortunately got a lot of work to do in the next 17 and a half minutes. Although I think this might be Maria Herrera that's about to get a lap put on her.
Yeah, it certainly is. We saw Herrera facing the wrong way. Just a little bit of oversteer coming at the top of the hill there. Rebecca Bianchi falling down as well as Cameron Box takes that 5th position from her as well. So again, you can see the concentration on the faces here just now. And I'm telling you right now, there is no way that Dani Pedrosa has never set a foot behind the wheel of a Assetto Corsa before right now. My boy has been practicing at this. He wanted to win this because he's already put a lap down pretty much on the entire entire field right now, 15 seconds ahead of Pryke, as that's another spin, unfortunately, for Michelle. I think that was Michelle Herrera there, as we were watching the 222 of Tony Cairoli.
That's Tony Cairoli, and right behind him you can see Cameron Box, about 2 seconds back there at the moment. Going to see if he can try and chase him down. Talking about Dani Pedrosa, though, he definitely looks like he's got the most experience on the sim out of anyone who is here at the moment. And, 31 MotoGP wins. How about adding a sim racing win to that tally as well, that he'll be able to tell everyone about? 19-second lead at the moment. Looks like it's going to keep growing as this race goes on, but who knows? It could, have problems here. We've seen a few of the drivers already get themselves in strife, some through their own fault, some through no fault of their own, and that's the problem, isn't it, David, when you're in a race like this, is that through no fault of your own, you can get caught up in something, and that's Connor Lynds, who was seeming to have a bit of trouble there.
Yeah, he's just recovered back onto the track there now, just about 17 seconds behind Nicolo Bulega. Just now we're seeing all of the cars here just about a way to get put a lap down. It's Connor Box who is going to be next on the hit list for our race leader. There is Dani Pedrosa, sorry, that's Nicolo Bulega that we're watching just now, onto the tail of one of the lapped cars just now. I think that might be Herrera, Michelle Herrera, that is... Sorry, Maria Herrera, excuse me, that is getting put a lap down from our third place car just now. But again, 20-minute race here, and there's a lot of pressure on these drivers, just to be able to keep themselves in the seat. And already, I'm going to make a controversial joke here, Ryan, already outlasting some of the pro drivers from the first season of SRO.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think different stakes and different championships probably take into that. It's a bit different when you're racing for... what was it, a €75,000 prize pool that we saw on site this year. But a couple of drivers involved in some contact there. Nicolo Bulega trying to go through, and that's Cairoli that's been caught up in something. Gonna have to try turn that car around, and he's lost the place to Nicolo Bulega. So Cairoli was actually doing quite well up towards the front, and now he's dropped back to 5th, still ahead of the lapped Maria Herrera. But now having to try and catch back up to Nicolo Bulega. And who is that he might be putting a lap on? Is that Gazzoli?
Oh, and that's another spin for Cairoli there. So again, you're just seeing how difficult this is. That's we saw Herrera in the background as well. This is Rebecca Bianchi in the purple 31 car as well. So despite where you are on the track, because Cairoli, Bianchi, Box, and Gazzoli all a lap down, poor Raton 3 laps down at this point in time. So it's 30 minutes can't come soon enough, and I think that might have been Herrera again in the background there. Tony Cairoli having a contact there as Herrera piles straight into the side of that car. Well, this is getting a little bit touchy-feely, isn't it?
Well, that's Rebecca Bianchi up to 5th place now that Cairoli is back in the wall, and it's just going from bad to worse, isn't it, for Cairoli at this point in time. Cameron Box will be on him soon enough. It's a bit difficult to see the gaps between the drivers now because of the fact that Dani Pedrosa has put a lap on everyone but the rest of the top 4, I believe it is, and he's just flying at the moment. Although that gap has come down, hasn't it? Aiden Pryke's where that gap down to 17 seconds. That was 20 before. So I wonder if Dani Pedrosa, has he had a moment? Has he just slowed down a bit? Did he have to avoid something?
I think you're right. I think it's gone up slightly, but 44.9 was the last lap round from Aiden Pryke, so obviously on it. And Rebecca Bianchi still struggling, as is Maria Herrera, so they're slipping down the order as well. Connor Lynds, one of our qualifiers from yesterday, up into P4 just now. So again, what it looks like, Ryan, is that if you were able to escape that trouble in the first sort of 5 minutes of the race here and get a little bit of clean air for yourself, as we see here, Dani Pedrosa in that number 26 car, if you're able to escape that trouble, although he might be in trouble here, he's away to come across a lapped car there. We cut away just at the horrible moment that Dani Pedrosa might be just away to slam into another car, but I think he got away with it just now, as that is the number 47 of Raton. I think Hell is just enjoying his best life at the moment.
Well, I mean, he's 4 laps down at this point, barring a red flag. I think it's going to be a bit difficult to get back up onto pace. And I mean, why not enjoy yourself? I mean, it is a fun race today. It's not, there's no super serious, massive prize pool up for grabs with, with this race. They're out here to enjoy themselves. Of course, racing drivers and people in general are competitive with each other, and everyone wants to win. But only one person can stand on the top of the podium, and that is currently Dani Pedrosa. Interestingly, though, of our qualifiers that we had yesterday through the EICMA MX Championship, Cameron Box, Connor Lynds, and Aiden Pryke, they're all in reverse order from which they qualified. It was Cameron Box who was top in the championship qualifier yesterday, and Aiden Pryke third, but, Aiden Pryke second at the moment overall in the race. Connor Box down in 7th. Oh, sorry, Cameron Box.
And again, obviously showing just very different disciplines here as we're on board with Nicolo Bulega. Get a little bit flamboyant into that last corner there, power sliding the car round, and again the oversteer just flicks that back end out of the car, and you're never ever going to save that. But we're already, God knows how we've done it, but we're already nearly halfway through the race here, just over 10 minutes left to go right now. Dani Pedrosa is currently in a different postcode at the moment. He's obviously showing what for just now. Adrian Pryke is trying to catch up here, as that's another moment for Nicolo Bulega, sends the car into the wall, and that is going to be a big amount of time lost for Nicolo Bulega, and that now means that only one car is left on this lead lap here, Ryan. So does Aiden Pryke have anything left into it, as we see Bulega getting overtaken by Connor Lynds here? So now we've got 2 of our qualifiers from yesterday onto the podium.
Yeah, around 48 seconds, 46 seconds maybe even, is what the lap times are looking at right now around this circuit. So, although Cairoli, I think they're maybe just put down a 45. So, Aiden Pryke, he's lost about 30 seconds in the space of half a race. He's going to pretty much be asked to not lose another 15 if he doesn't want to be lapped by Dani Pedrosa. Although I'm not sure if he minds too much at this point. Dani Pedrosa very much in a league of his own in this race at the moment. And for Aiden Pryke and Connor Lynds, I mean, coming runner-up to a MotoGP legend like Dani Pedrosa is nothing to scoff at.
It really isn't, but as you said earlier on, it's a fun event, and having experienced these types of things at various different expos, and I remember at the Autosport show a couple of years ago taking part in an event like this where you're on stage and you're in front of other people that you've never met before. As much as it's a fun race, it seems like some sort of inert reaction. There's huge contact, and I'm sure that's Dani Pedrosa that got caught up in that. We'll double check just now. That was the number 11 that was caught up.
I think he got away with it. I don't think Dani Pedrosa was in there. There was Maria Herrera was definitely involved, and I think Rebecca Bianchi as well. But I don't believe Dani Pedrosa was. You're
absolutely spot on with that, Ryan, because his gap is still going up there. I remember he was in a red car. I just couldn't remember. Actually, is he not in? I think he's the red 27 or something like that.
But actually, he's using
26. There we go.
He's using his trademark number from his illustrious racing career
from back in the day.
Well, back
would have been safer
in the day,
for him.
I mean, he was racing this season in MotoGP. In fact, he's made some wildcard appearances for KTM, I believe it is. So still making some appearances in MotoGP despite his retirement back in 2018, was it?
Yeah, of course, because that was a shock with him being announced as a development rider. Given his long affiliation and switching over, but fantastic to see. I mean, look at the concentration right now from Dani Pedrosa at the moment. He's absolutely in this right now. He really, really wants to win this race. So we've got a car off in the background.
Look at the steering. Look at the steering as well. Controlled. He's not, not ragged. And well, I say that.
Whoa!
The commentators out.
Well,
Dani Pedrosa is around.
Do you know what it is? He saw a friend in the virtual crowd there, wanted to do a couple of donuts for him. He's got 35 seconds of a lead. He's just wanting to entertain the crowd. That's what it is here. But on that point, though, 7 minutes left to go. the best drivers can have mistakes and can have accidents, and everybody is literally just taking us for a laugh and for a bit of fun here. So we're not expecting esports professionals out here, but I'll be damned if this isn't entertaining. I'm absolutely loving this. My big question is, can Adrian Pryke hold on and not get lapped here, because he's only about 3 seconds away from having Dani Pedrosa onto the back of him. In fact, maybe just a couple of seconds more. In fact, that gap's gone down massively, actually, because of that spin back to 35
it has
seconds.
Gone down. So 35 seconds, give or take 45-second lap, did we say? So 10 seconds left in change for Aiden Pryke in the next 6 minutes. I mean, maybe he can outlast him. I think he might be able to. And wonderful jump there from Tony Cairoli. I have to say, some of the jumps that we've seen in this race so far have been quite impressive, and none of them holding back when it comes to these little hills that they get the chance to race over. And whoa, another one there. Bit of a small one, but plenty of airtime from these cars, and that is a trademark of Rallycross. Most of the circuits they go to, they're not flat. There are some little bumps and hills that they get the chance to jump over. Sometimes it's not quicker to do so, and it's a lot more dangerous to take those jumps at full speed, but I think in a race like today, everyone's just enjoying themselves. Give it a go.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, these pickup trucks are so much fun. We see them usually more often than not over in America for the likes of NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Great to see them out having a little bit of fun here on this Rallycross circuit, which, to be all honest with you, I'm trying to figure out, get an idea of where it's usually based. I'm going to guess that it is somewhere in Europe here. I'm certainly not familiar with a lot of Rallycross circuits. For all I know, Ryan, this could actually be a very famous Rallycross circuit, as that is going to be Tony Cairoli.
That was Connor
So that was
around.
fourth position, yeah. That's now Tony Cairoli there, Ryan, up into third place.
Yep, that is Tony Cairoli up into the podium position. So Connor Lynds, who's held that third place for so long, will be so frustrated that he gave that away. And a little bit of a hip check there from a car unlapping themselves. I'm not entirely sure who that was into the side of Tony Cairoli, but making a bit of a firm statement to say, I'm coming through and I'm getting a lap back on you.
Certainly is, as Tony Cairoli tries to up and over and under. Is it going to work though? Gets it done. It's going to be a drag race. Oh, Tony Cairoli, too much power out of the exit of that corner there and can't quite make it work. They go across the line to start yet another lap here with just 4 minutes left to go. The EICMA VIP race here, live from the EICMA Milan Motor Show in Italy. As on stage we have a fantastic race. Dani Pedrosa setting fire to the stage just now with Aiden Pryke in second place, and that is going to be Tony Cairoli in third position, sent round. Now, can he get ahead of Connor Lynds, or is Connor Lynds going to take that position? It's going to be touch and go here, Ryan.
I don't think Connor Lynds has been able to take that position. We'll wait to see the timing board updates, but I don't think it has. I think he's a bit too far behind. He might just cross the line now as his lap time updates, but that gap that they had, 19 seconds down to 9 at the moment. So with 3 minutes and 20 seconds left, if Cairoli makes another mistake, Connor Lynds is going to have the chance to take that third place back, down to 8.4 now even. And don't count Nicolo Bulega out of this. He's only 6.8 seconds back from Connor Lynds as well. So not too much between the third and fifth place positions at the moment. And that is Cairoli in the barrier again.
So here we go then. Does Connor Lynds have anything in the box to try and get that? As that's very, very wide there. Again, onto the brakes, into the final corner. Huge contact. That's at number 26. That's your race leader, Dani Pedrosa. Contact from another car behind. I think that might have been Gazzoli that was involved in that one. And a big giggle on the face there of Connor Lynds. And Ryan, that could be absolutely huge.
Yeah, Dani Pedrosa, obviously nothing he could do coming over. It's a blind crest as you jump over that. And once you're in the air, the control you have over your car is basically non-existent. And is that Connor Lynds again, who has gone around. So his fourth place that could have been a third place, now down to fifth as Bulega's gone back past him. And Dani Pedrosa will continue on. He's going to try and make it to the end now. Just 2 minutes remaining of this race. He's pretty much got this in the bag, even with the incidents he's been caught up with. 31-second lead to Aiden Pryke, who has also had a pretty stable second place ever since he took it. It's not really had too many problems to worry about for himself. And this is Raton, who's actually, he's not last anymore, is he? I think he's moved up into 9th place.
Look at him, one hand on the wheel as well. Let's go. That's how you race in style, my friends. I was also noticing there that Dani Pedrosa, despite going head on into another car there, lost only 6 seconds on that last lap there. And this is the thing as well. Look at Raton, right? He was really struggling to put one corner together after another right at the start. Give him 15 minutes and he's actually able to start, really, really getting involved here. And it, again, just shows you how quickly esports and sim racing is to pick up and play. But we've got about just over a minute left to go in this EICMA VIP race. Dani Pedrosa currently well out in front of the field at the moment, into the final minute. Aiden Pryke just 30 seconds away here, but there's almost no chance that is going to change in the final couple of moments here. Here is your race. I was just about to say, yeah, here's Dani Pedrosa then, and he will be loving this final couple of laps.
Yeah, so Dani Pedrosa soaking up what will be the end to his race, but Cairoli around again, and Bulega surely can't be that far away from him now. 7.6 seconds on the timing board. I'm not sure if that's the most up-to-date reading we have, but, I mean, goodness me, Cairoli, how many chances is he going to have to get away with keeping this third position? How many times has he spun whilst he's in that third position, and he still managed to hold on to it through, either Lynds having a mistake or Nicolo Bulega, who's now up into 4th, just not being able to capitalize on it. Oh, and there's a spin right in front of him, and that's going to slow him down as well. As Dani Pedrosa now on the final lap of the race.
Yep. So comes round the left-hander here. Just a couple of corners left to go for a race leader. It's been a lights to flag performance from the legend that is Mr. Dani Pedrosa. He's won out there on track numerous times, and he's about to win here in our VIP race. He comes across the line, and Dani Pedrosa wins here at the EICMA VIP race here. And I think he's quite happy to keep going. We've got the checkered flag, but Ryan, it looks like he's quite happy to just keep racing. He doesn't. He's keeping on going. He's just quite happy with this. But Aiden Pryke is going to take in second position just now, and there we go. He's just figured it out now that he's actually won the race here. And yeah, big round of applause there from our presenters on stage, Federica Mazzoli and Davide Valsecchi. But Ryan, that was awesome fun.
Dani Pedrosa continuing after his racing. It's better to do that than to do the opposite and think you've already finished the race and slow down.
I've done that. I've done that in an iRacing race. Yeah,
we've seen that plenty of times in the real world and in the sim world even. It's not over until that checkered flag is dropped over your head. And, Dani Pedrosa just making sure that that checkered flag had gone over. So there it is then. Dani Pedrosa is at the top. It'll be Aiden Pryke in second, and Tony Cairoli does hang on to that third place. Nicolo Bulega and Connor Lynds rounding out that top 5. Rebecca Bianchi recovered to 6th, though. Pretty good. And the last of our qualifiers, Cameron Box in 7th place. Gianluca Gazzoli, Maria Herrera, and Raton rounding out the rest of the 10.
Well, there we go. What a race that was. And again, I'm saying this, I said this during the race, I'm saying it now. There's no way that man has not been behind the wheel of Assetto Corsa. Some firm words from Gianluca Gazzoli. He is frustrated. I'm sure he enjoyed it, but he looks like one of those drivers that's like, nah, come on. That's just, I could have done better. Yeah, that's exactly what the body language is saying there. He is, he's going to feel aggrieved there. I'm wondering if we've got our first rage quit of the afternoon, but he's happy. Here's come to have a little chat. I would imagine this in Italian. Let's have a quick listen. Yeah, certainly, yeah. So Gianluca just telling us a little bit about his experience behind the wheel there, Ryan. And again, the great thing about this, as I said right at the start of this race, me and you are both used to doing week in, week out commentary on, professional grade esports events. But events like this are just so much fun because you bring in the general public and you bring in people who aren't used to sim racing, aren't maybe used to esports, and it just reminds you of how fun and how exciting it can be just to get behind the wheel.
No, it's great, and having been to a lot of on-site events this year, it's really, really cool when you get to see people try sim racing for the very first time. They get to try out these rigs on site, and the smile it puts on their face, and it's things like this that get more people into this wonderful little, this little corner of the world of gaming and simulation. People like this that can inspire more people to get involved, and you don't have to have a big rig like the ones that we have here today. You can start out small, you can build yourself up to it, and like you said with Raton, he struggled to put a lap together early on. Struggled to put a corner together, a sequence of corners together, but after 20 minutes you could see he was out there and he was putting down a solid lap.
Absolutely, as we see Dani Pedrosa, your race winner, coming to have a chat with our presenters live there on stage. And again, I think Dani, just explaining how much fun that he had behind the wheel, although maybe a potential little idea, a little seed being planted in the heads, because of course rallycross, an incredibly accessible sport, and it's completely different to anything else that's out there because it's a constantly evolving, track that the drivers are having to race about, and it always keeps you on the edge of your toes, and it's wild fun to watch. Let's not forget.
Yeah, rallycross I feel is probably a good way into sim racing, isn't it? They're typically shorter races. There is some strategy involved with joker laps and all sorts, and there's a wide variety of cars as well and circuits that are involved with rallycross. So it is a very, very good entry point, and it's something as well that rallycross racing. It definitely, when you see it, more on the sim here in this kind of setting, it's a more fun experience. It's not, super duper serious. There are those serious races out there though for rallycross if you want to get involved in that. You can find the sims to do it and the communities to do it, but it is definitely a good entry point because the cars are fun. The circuits are usually crazy, like nothing we ever see in road racing. So it is definitely a great point to jump in.
Yeah, so we're seeing Rebecca Bianchi now. I did just see, I thought I heard from her right at the beginning of the show there, but I just wanted to draw your attention to an absolute legend in the world of motorsport and esport that we heard from earlier on, just in the background there. You can see Steffi Bau joining us on stage as well, and obviously a huge part behind the scenes with getting both women into motorsport and pushing esports in general. But here he comes. For me, this is one of the standout performances. And yeah, it might not have had the standing on the leaderboard to show for it, but a brilliant effort from Raton there. Pretty much trial by fire, thrown into the wolves, and it looks like he had an absolute blast out there doing it.
Yeah, I think he was having a lot of fun towards the end, and his improvement in 20 minutes was quite amazing to watch. I mean, we saw him in that qualifying session really, really struggling, but he came back towards the end of the race, and it kind of just shows that if you put your practice towards it, you put the time in, you really can get to a point where you're comfortable lapping around circuits like this. And rallycross is harder than it looks. Definitely a lot harder than it looks. I mean, you don't have the same kind of grip levels you'd have on road racing and all sorts of stuff with the movement between tarmac and dirt, but they definitely adapted to it quite well in the space of 20 minutes, and a lot more confident on the microphone, I think, than behind the wheel right now, but maybe we'll see a difference in that in the future.
Yep, Maria Herrera just there in the background as well, having a chat with everyone here. And of course, with the back to the camera. So we'll get her. There we go. There's Maria there. Again, another driver that kind of got caught up in everybody else's incidents there, but still leaving with a big smile on their face at the end of that EICMA VIP race here. And I guess, as well, Ryan, here, this is something for all of them to put on their socials as well, because a thoroughly enjoyable experience, maybe a chance to meet other celebrities from different genres and things like that, and it's one of those things that you just enjoy being able to talk about, because like I said, everybody there leaving with a big smile on their face. It's obvious that they had a lot of fun here. We've got another one of the drivers there. That's Nicolo Bulega. Now, Nicolo, it's a shame to see what happens. You know, it was running in potential for that podium position, and then it just all went to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah, it was it was kind of a shame for him, but you know he recovered well. Not quite on the podium, of course, but you know, did his best and was one of the drivers that definitely fared better over the course of the race, and also, you know, someone as well that comes from a motorcycle road racing background, not someone that comes from an experience of stuff like motocross, like Tony Cairoli does. Where there is a lot of dirt involved, like there is in rallycross racing. But I think for me, Aiden Pryke has got to be one of the most impressive guys. You know, went out there and got second place. And speaking of Tony Cairoli,
he escaped death a number of times in that race, didn't he? It looked like it was all over for him, down to sixth place, and then he came back from the brink and got ahead of Lynds at Bulega and stole that third place. Thoroughly deserved though, and again just showing how tricky it was out there on track.
Yeah, and looking like, you know, with the smiles on his face and the body language as well. I think definitely enjoying himself out there. And here we go. Here is Aiden Pryke, the best of the qualifiers, or the best finishers of the qualifiers, second place. And, you know, if you'd come to the show for the weekend and you'd seen that this was around and you fancied a chance of qualifying for it, and then you end up on the podium, only behind Dani Pedrosa. And not lapped by Dani Pedrosa either. The only man not lapped by the winner.
Yeah, that was a heck of an effort. And again, I think Aiden obviously will be fairly happy with that. And yeah, like I said, I'm positive that's the same YouTuber that I was kind of looking at earlier on from the build up with the show. But that, I think, is all of your drivers from the certainly from the podium and certainly from the celebrities. I don't know if we'll be able to hear from Cameron Box or from Connor Lynds nonetheless, but we have heard from everyone else outside there. And I think, as we said, Ryan, smiles on the faces, an enjoyable race there. And it'll be a chance for everyone to maybe think about getting a little sim rig at home. But there we go, champions presentation then. Dani Pedrosa being awarded with his prize for winning first place.
So watch, I believe.
Wow, I would be unhappy with that.
I did say there was no mega prizes on offer, but I'm pretty sure a Tissot watch is
yeah,
a prize
we're regretting that now.
I think that's probably a bit more expensive than I thought was on offer today, but no, a lovely prize for Dani Pedrosa. I imagine that's probably not the only very nice looking watch he has in his collection.
Yeah, I'd imagine he's got quite a few, but it looks like that is a big round of applause from everyone on stage, from our presenters, Federica Massolin and David Vilsecchi. So that looks like everything is done and dusted. So that is it. We hope you enjoyed all of the racing today, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of my good buddy in the commentary box here, Ryan Gill, and myself, Dave Christie, a huge thank you to all of the production team, both on site in Milan at the fantastic EICMA. And a huge thank you to all of you at home for watching. We'll see you very soon. Take care.